Hey there, this is Steve Kern, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jarrett, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And I am here, as always, with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jarrett Street. What is up, Sheik?
Oh, not much, brother. Just trying to do a little housework, little stuff around the house and get done. But with today's episode, I brought a lot of charisma with me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because today is the very second episode of This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma. And who better to welcome than the Territory Wrestling Guru and the co-host with the mo-host. What up, Q? How you doing?
Good. How y'all guys doing?
Doing good, man.
Doing good, brothers. Golly, man, I've been a traveling man this week. Obviously, I don't even know if y'all noticed, but we did not have an episode last week. And, you know, we did try to have an episode, but unfortunately, due to circumstances that beyond our control and me wanting to take a vacation, I just said, hey, let's take the week off. You know, so many times when something happens, we pivot and find a different guest or we'll pick up a topic. But with the week that I had in front of me, and I'll explain that in just a second, the week I had in front of me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just treat myself on this one and take the week off for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. You know, I was never the one to take a week off on any podcast I've done. So that's a foreign concept to me, but sometimes it's nice, and I'll be honest, guys, it was very nice. So we were set to have a guest, but in turn, we had the week off, and I hope y'all are refreshed and feeling better. I myself took my son to Orlando, Florida, sunny Orlando, Florida, and we went to Universal Studios. And, you know, back a few episodes ago, we had our good buddy Brian Bearden, aka Chase D. Well, it's a good thing to know people with connections, because Brian took care of me and Cash and helped us get a ticket to get into a park down there in Florida. And man, oh man, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Brian. I speak for my son Cash and myself. We had an absolute blast. We got to see Brian. He was working the Men in Black ride, and I don't know how you do it down there, Brian. He was checking. He was the locker attendant that day, and yeah, cool stuff, man. Really cool. I've never been to Universal. A lot of fun. Highly recommend to go if you can. Man, that was a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Brian. Cash had a great time. So anyway, and then we ended up in Rosedale, my parents' house, and got to see the Plastic Sheik and family, and the Sheik family, and and that was fun. Got to swim in the pool, eat some good barbecue and all that good stuff. So that is what I was doing while y'all were hopefully listening to something in the archives.
Go to listen to it all.
Yeah, go listen to every bit of it. But no, I really can't thank Brian enough for that. That meant a lot. You know, just a couple more things before we get on to This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma, covering August obviously. And so one more thing I want to talk about real quick. Obviously, our last episode was incredible. People coming in with great reports and just a great response to it. We greatly appreciate that. Obviously, Captain's Corner and Paul Roma. Paul is very cool. He was so giving. He seemed to really enjoy his experience on the show. I don't know if you heard that in the listen back, but I think I did. Guys, what'd y'all think of that Paul Roma show?
Paul was great. You never know how an interview is going to go. I say this all the time. You never know how one's going to go, but it seemed to go great. He was very giving to stories. I mean, he answered some questions that we had that we didn't even ask. I mean, I don't know if y'all know that, but sometimes we have questions that we want to ask, and people already answer them in their stories. So it's a lot of time if you're like, why didn't they ask that? Well, because they answered it already is why.
Right. I mean, because if they already answered it, we don't want to get a double answer. We want to get an extra question in.
There you go. There you go. And I wanted to ask him about the, figure of him, but, I already know some that they got a zombie sailor figure, and I'm sure he probably has something else in the works too. So,
yeah, I'm sure he does. What'd you think, Q?
I thought it was really good. He was a good talker. He'd get going on something, and he would, he kept going. It wasn't short answers. He would, he would go and detail on some of them, and like I said, we'd ask him a question, and then he'd go into another question that we were going to ask next. But he just kept he rolled into them really good.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Paul. If you would like to see Paul and our buddy Captain's Corner, Nick, you can go to Montreal, Canada. That is September 20th at Canada Slam Fest at the Montreal Wrestling Convention. Hotel Ruby Foos, 7655 Descartes Boulevard. That is very cool. So thank you so much for that, Paul. One more thing before we get to episode 2 of This Month in Wrestling History. And obviously, our buddy Mark Dunovitt, Honey Badger, has been having some ups and downs in and out of the hospital. If you are listening to this and do not know about his situation, just pray for Mark. Give him some good prayers. He's needing them right now, but word is that he is not giving up and he is fighting the good fight. So I think we should help support him in that in prayer. So guys, go ahead and keep Mark in your prayers. That's very important right now. He needs them. So, but to come out of that and to celebrate pro wrestling like we love to do. Today is an awesome show. It is episode 2 of This Month in Wrestling History. Guys, I'm ready to turn it over to Quinton, unless you guys have anything else you'd like to share.
No, I think we're good to go.
I'm good. Let's do it.
I figured you were ready.
Quinton's ready for it.
All right. No better way to do that than go to the break here. We'll be right back after these messages with more This Month in Wrestling History Part 2 with Quinton Quarisma on Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
Welcome to This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, guys. So this is the August month. My starting on this, it started out a little slow. and then it picked up really fast. So I'm hoping you enjoy this episode. So
It snowballed on you, huh?
yeah, it did. Yeah, it yeah, the last 2 weeks have been like, wow, so. All right, so I hope you guys like this. So we're going to start with August the 3rd, 1959. We're going to go to Memphis, Tennessee, Rushwood Park for a NWA Tennessee title match, 2 out of 3 falls. Sputnik Monroe beat Billy Wicks, 2 falls. And this was out on a baseball field.
Oh,
I guess I'm assuming it was a baseball field. It could have been football. I don't really know, but I just know it was outside.
okay.
They're saying that there was over 10,000 people there.
Oh man.
And like I said, for 59 in Memphis, that's a lot of people. Because I'm thinking 59 Memphis, maybe what do you think they were? Like 100,000 people there, maybe? And lived in Memphis, Tennessee at the time.
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of people.
That definitely.
Yeah, and this, Billy Wicks was a big time babyface. Sputnik Monroe, even though he was the heel, with the white people, but the black community, he was a star. So if you ever want to look up some stuff about Sputnik Monroe and the Bill Street incident and all that, it's great, man. He really did a lot to integrate wrestling in the South, especially in Memphis. This was really big time because the build-up actually started a few months back. Wicks beat Monroe for the belt. So I'm guessing they were setting up to blow it off with the match at Rushwood. I don't know what they had it set with whoever won in June. Whoever the loser would get the rematch at Rushwood in August. They did some kind of angle in July where Monroe petitioned the NWA board and to get another match before the August match. And there's no TV. I looked everywhere to find any kind of what the actual all the reason, the build up to get the match before the rematch. Couldn't find nothing. Mm-hmm. But in that match, Wicks won. And then there was another 2 out of 3 falls. So it seemed like a lot of these stuff back then, a lot of stuff was 2 out of 3 falls.
They just don't do that anymore, though. I mean, people just don't use it. They don't, for whatever reason, I guess it's just they're trying to, to have a TV product, you can't have every match go 2 or 3 falls. Yeah. You just have 2 or 3 matches or something.
Well, I know the old traveling world champ would way back in the day. A lot of places, especially like in Houston, they would do the 2 out of 3 falls, and your local guy would always get a fall on the world champion. So they would always give him rub, gotcha. after the champion leaves and. So I've always heard that was the reason why they used to do the 2 out of 3 falls when the traveling champion would come through. But it seemed like just your local stuff had, with the top belt had 2 out of 3 falls. So like I said, so they set up for they had the August match. So we'll get to that later. Now I do know that. Well, no, I don't. I got so confused when I was doing the research because I couldn't find the reason why. Because the Rushwood thing was going to be the big thing, but while they threw that one in the middle, and I looked, I looked everywhere, I couldn't find nothing. It just kind of seemed weird how they just threw that in there. So I don't know if they wanted to needed to bump the house that week or something.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking it might have been. So yeah.
By the way, ChatGPT says that the population of Memphis then was 650,000.
Oh, gosh, I was way off.
Just for information. I wouldn't have thought that either. But
good job, Sheik.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, 59. That's a lot of people.
Seriously, yeah.
So, all right. So next one, we're going to go to August 4th, 1969. We're going to Laurel, Mississippi, the Laurel Civic Center. We have Ken Lucas and Bob Boyer won a tournament to become the first City of Laurel Tag Team Champions. Okay, now the reason why I did this is a couple years ago I ran across this. The Gulf Coast territory was kind of split in two. You had the Alabama, Florida side, and then you had the Mississippi, and I think it kind of went a little bit into Louisiana, not much. But on that Mississippi side, you had Gulfport, Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Lower Mississippi. That was their every week towns. Okay, now their tag team champions were called city tag teams, and they did not have belts. You know what what their champions had?
Rings,
trophies, badges,
jackets.
Huh?
Yes,
Interesting.
And that's why. That's what it really. Like I said, I didn't know it until a couple of years ago. And I was from across, it was like jackets, and somewhere on YouTube I could not find. I looked for it again, but there is I want to say it's either Meridian or Laurel TV that shows one of the jackets, the city tag team jackets.
That's wild. That's wild.
No, and like on the Florida side of the territory, the Alabama, Florida side, they didn't have jackets.
That is wild. That is crazy.
Yeah, and it was crazy because they could have all the cities had tag team champions, but no city singles champions.
Okay.
They were just regular. They were just regular champion. Saying of like I don't know, like Mississippi. I don't know actually, but that actually it said no city heavyweight champions. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So you know, like you didn't have like City of Laurel heavyweight champion. It wasn't called City. Just the tag were called the City of.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
And they could, and you could actually win and lose. They would put up, like, say you were working at the Gulfport, Mississippi champions or facing the Meridian, Mississippi champions, and you could lose your city championship in a different city. Yeah, it was. I read up on it, man. A lot of this, like I said, I've known it for years about that territory, but I didn't know about. I knew they, had champions, but I didn't know they had the actual. Each little city had their own, and kayfabe memories. They got a lot of information on it if you want to look it up. And Ken Lucas, all people know Ken Lucas. He was a mainstay in the South, Goodless, Gulf Coast. And Ricky Morton's partner in San Antonio, Bob Boyer, the other guy on the tag team, was also known as Bobby Bold Eagle and Chief Bold Eagle, and he worked everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So, but yeah, it's one of those little things, and a lot of people wouldn't really care for, but I really liked the jacket gimmick because it was so different.
Yeah, no, it's original. I mean, I like it. Obviously makes me think of Happy Gilmore in golf or something, So
shooter, get the green jacket. Yeah,
makes me think of Arn and Tully with their jackets.
Yeah.
It's like I said, in the 50s and 60s, even up to 70s, you saw there was a lot of territories that still did trophies for tags. Mm-hmm. So the belts was what really I liked. That was so different,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So next time we're going to go to August 1st, 1972. We're going to go to Savannah, Georgia, to the Civic Center. And wrestler Ray Gunkel passed away in the dressing room of a heart attack after his match with Ox Baker. Now, the death part, I mean, is bad, but this is the reason why I put this in here. Not only because they went on to Ox Baker used it as one of the deaths that he caused by the heart punch, which wasn't true, but they worked it up.
Right.
It's wrestling. It's wrestling. We're going to work. We're going to get something out of everything, even if it's a death.
Yeah.
But the thing was about this was Gunkel was the major. He had the most
Majority.
percentage. The majority. There you go. Thank you. I couldn't get the word out. Majority owner of Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
So his death was the first part, the beginning of the War of Atlanta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, his death, because he died. Like I said, he owned majority of the territory. So there was other people had bits and pieces,
yeah.
and with the wife and uncle, she wanted, I figured she would get his part. She didn't know nothing about wrestling. She was like a pageant, model and stuff like that. So, but the rest of the owners, they're boys and part of the business. They ain't gonna let an outsider run their territory.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so they basically kicked her out. She went and started All Star, and the whole thing is everybody went with her except for Bob Armstrong. Yeah, and because everybody was loyal, and they just figured. And then, like I said, that started the war. NWA came in. They brought in everybody and their brother in to go against them. Eventually, they won the war, and that was the reason they had the wide wrestling on Georgia Championship Wrestling. Had the 2-hour block.
Gotcha.
Is because Ted Turner, I guess he, who knows what happened with him and Gunkel, but she, she was nice on the eyes, and Turner, so he gave her a hour right. They split them, gave them 2 hours. Both companies fighting had back-to-back shows.
That's crazy
Yeah, and so then they when she went out of business, Georgia just got the 2-hour block.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad you shared that. That's good.
That if you want to read up on that war, go there's a lot of history out there, and it was crazy.
That sounds like a future episode there in itself.
There's a lot to that. All right. So the next one we're going to go to is August 2nd, 1985. We're going to St. Louis, Missouri, to the Kill Auditorium. Harley Race beats Jerry Blackwell for the Missouri title. Usually I wouldn't, just because it's not nothing. It's the Missouri title, but Harley was the last Missouri champion. And if anybody knows, like 60s and 70s, that Missouri title was like the next step up to the world title. You had the Florida title, which was a big deal. The Missouri title and the Florida title, they were like the two. You wanted that Missouri title. They wanted them to put it on you because you're fixing to get a push to go to the next level. And so I said, this was 85.
Not long after that, Harley was in the Federation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because Crockett took over St. Louis, and then Crockett did a couple shows with Geigel, and then I want to say sometime in '86, Crockett basically just went to stop running as a regular town. They stopped running St. Louis as they would just run it so often then. But yeah, they came in. And I said, they tried to make a regular show, and it was, basically after Mushnick left, it was never the same. You still had some big houses, but they said it just didn't have the same, St. Louis. So, but
May of '86 for Harley Race went to the Federation. So.
Yeah. So he wasn't there. So I looked at some of the results, and I think because he was in the office of Central State, had ownership. I think so. He still had some at that time. So he still did some Central State stuff, but yeah, he was gone not long after that. So,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that belt was it was like I said, it was right there with the Florida title in the '60s and '70s. So.
Very cool. That's cool, man. And you never think of that. You think of the U.S. title being, and you wouldn't think of a state's title, but that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah, Missouri title. Yeah, that was their only belt there in St. Louis. St. Louis Wrestling Club, Mushnick. They just had the Missouri title. And then I don't even know if I'm trying to think. I don't think Missouri. St. Louis Wrestling Club. I don't think they had tag titles. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Missouri title was like their only belt that they really had that that was ran out of that office. So,
Okay, good info.
but, that was a monthly show too. I mean, they didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
St.
Okay.
Louis, St. Louis was totally different from the rest of Central States.
Yeah.
There was a monthly show, and Mushnick, that was his. That was his thing. So it was. You could have angles, but you didn't really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a total thing. Definitely. If you're interested, look it up because St. Louis was the crown jewel of the NWA for years. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, all right. So now we're going to go to August 6, 1988. We're going to go Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
All right. On this day, Ron Fuller's USA Championship Wrestling aired their last episode of TV.
Oh.
Yeah. This was a short-lived promotion. Fuller, he sold his Continental to David Woods, and he wanted to help back up the Knoxville office. I think in February of '88. I think. No, but this I've never heard of it because back in '88 I was still a teenager.
Right.
No cable. Cable, but no. It was local for East Tennessee,
right,
Eastern Kentucky. So in Milton said we didn't know anything about it. Got the tape traders into the tape trading and discovered it and fell in love with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was like Continental, which I've seen I really fell in love with Continental during the tape trading days, but this was like Continental with Memphis mixed in it.
What a great blend!
Yeah, because you had Dundee, the RPMs on there, and we actually had one of our past guests made probably his first TV appearance on one of these episodes. Ronnie Travis was on there.
Nice, yeah, that's awesome. Love Ronnie.
So this was, like I said, this was our last TV, and then the next week on the TV the next week, it was a best of show, and I want to crap. Bo James helped me with this because he's East Tennessee. He knows everything. So I asked him because I couldn't remember. It's through the years, I've seen stuff, heard stuff, read stuff about how the next week was Continental. Mm-hmm. And he said they did kind of like a best of show, and was it Bob Polk or somebody who came on and basically told them that it was Continental. It's now back to Continental Wrestling, and so I want to say it was Bob Polk. But yeah, Bo told me who it was. I forgot to write that down. But yeah, Bo helped me a lot with this because there was so much stuff out there. So they were shut down. They were done. But something popped up when I was doing this research.
We like that.
Yeah, and I was like, so was August 6th their last TV show, last house show? No, it wasn't. One more popped up. We'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of this footage is on YouTube. So if you're a fan of Continental or Southern Wrestling, I highly recommend go check it out. It is really, like I said, it's one of my favorite promotions. So go check that out.
Definitely will.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go to August 4th, 1989. Going to Dallas, Texas, the Sportatorium.
Boom.
Eric Embry beats P.Y. Chuhai in a match where winner takes control of the promotion. So it was world class, that was the big thing forever down there. And then they had the whole thing with the USWA. So they had a big war, and it was crazy. Like I said, Embry beats P.Y. Chuhai and him in the famous video of Eric Embry and Percy Pringle going over to the wall and ripping down the world class banner. But yeah, it was it was crazy, man, because it was a big feud between world class and USWA. It basically was Eric Embry and Pringle feuding against Akbar, Tojo. They were the ones took over World Class and was, it just, the whole, World Class was dying. And I guess this was a Jarrett gimmick. And because he had bought it, and all right, so then they made Eric Embry, who'd been a heel forever and in and out of Dallas. They made him the babyface. And you know what? It worked. It took off. And then this angle, like I said, it went on for over a year, I think. And the thing was, when they tore down the banner, it wasn't over. Akbar and his army was, and Tojo and PYU, they were still there. So even though, you think that would be, they had to go somewhere. They couldn't just leave them,
Right.
It's like, they're still part of the company. They're not, they're under the new banner. So it kept going, So they had all kinds of matches lead up to it. And then after, great stuff. It was, I watched a little bit of it the other night. It's on YouTube. You can find it. There's a couple of people have actually got it all in order of the way it went down, and it's crazy because Akbar had people come in. Gary Young and Iceman Parsons. I think they were like the couple of the originals, and PYU High. If you don't know, that's the old Memphis wrestler Phil Hickerson.
Yeah.
And they just, it's crazy.
Put an Asian gimmick on him or something like that.
Because Tojo, his original was like PY something. So basically they took his name, but he actually started doing it in Memphis in '88.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he started actually doing it, and it was crazy because he'd been on Memphis TV for 15 years. And
seriously, yeah.
And they bring him in, he changed Tojo, and he brings him back. And it was crazy because he was just there a few months earlier, had a long run with the Southern title.
Yeah.
He was their champion like the whole summer of '88.
Yeah. He just needed a refresh.
Yeah. It was crazy. But, Texas, they didn't know who Phil Hickerson was.
Right.
They could still see him.
Yeah.
He was American.
He wasn't Asian.
Yeah. So that part of it makes this whole thing even better. Yeah, go check it out. It's one of the best. My best favorite. I guess you could call it a feud angle. The storyline. Just go for it because it was all. Basically that was what was going on. The whole. And like I said, they ran it for over a year. Great stuff. And like I said, Eric Embry. Who in the world would think he would be one of the biggest baby faces since the Von Erichs in Dallas?
Goes to show, right? That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
It shows the booking and the person get it over and just, it can be done.
Yep. All
right.
Love to have Eric on a podcast sometime, man. Golly.
Yeah, he's did a few out there. He's got an interesting story.
Yeah.
He worked a lot of places.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go to August the 2nd, 1992. I wasn't going to put this in there, but at the end of this, I'll tell you why. We're going to Baltimore, Maryland, the Baltimore Arena for a WCW World Title match. Ron Simmons beats Big Van Vader to become the new WCW World Champion.
First black heavyweight champion.
And also Ron Simmons becomes the first black NWA/WCW World Champion.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put this on here is you have to go on YouTube and watch this. Watch when Simmons gets the pin. The crowd goes crazy, but there's this kid in a blue shirt. He's on the guardrail, and he goes bat crap crazy. He's kicking his legs. It's hilarious. And that's like that. Go watch that just for that.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going nuts. Like he just won the lottery. He's going crazy. And he stands out because he's got a light blue shirt on and he's right there on the guardrail, right there on the hard camera, man. So
That's awesome. I think we just found a Sheik short.
Yeah, there you
I mean,
go.
it's history. I mean, it's history thing, but the
Right.
video that I mean, it made his day.
Yeah, that's all.
Biggest Ron Simmons fan out there, probably.
Yeah. Oh
Nothing
yeah.
against Ron. I'm just,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they do. Yeah, it was just that kid was loving it.
Yeah.
All right. So then I wasn't gonna put this in here, but I had to go to August 1st, 2019. Harley Race passed away.
Oh man. Yeah.
And I put that in there because Harley was one of my all-time favorites.
No question. Yeah.
Daddy said sail.
Yeah. Do you know the validity of that, Quinton? Is that valid that he actually said that?
People says he did. There's one person I want to say his name.
Sure.
Yeah, because he screwed over Ben Jordan. So anybody that does anything to Ben Jordan, you're on my list, no matter how good you were to me.
Yeah.
You know, you on the list now. But
Right.
he says that he was there. Oh, everybody don't know who it is when I say this. He was there from like 75 till they shut the doors down. He said he never heard it one time, and he said he was at ringside for every match. So that
Okay.
pretty much tells who it is. He said
Right.
he never heard it. He said
Yeah.
he never heard it. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but
maybe.
then again, you've had 100 that said it, one that said it didn't. So,
Right.
but you know how it's wrestling. You can't believe nothing you hear, half of what you see. So.
Exactly. Exactly.
Can you imagine saying that to Harley though?
I mean, only George would say that to Harley, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, okay.
If it did happen, I would say he was dumb enough to say it Harley. You know, and so.
Yeah, maybe we could go pay somebody to ask that question.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, this is kind of a downer too. We're going to the second week of August. We're going to go to August 13th, 1978. We're going to go to San Bernardino, California. Moondog Lonnie Main died in a car wreck. Yep. And he just worked that night for the LaBelles for the NW Hollywood. Like I said, he worked that night in San Bernardino. He was leaving on his way, and he had a car wreck and passed away. I don't want to judge nobody because, like I said, don't believe nothing you hear in wrestling. But they said he was drunk because he was a big drinker. But from what I heard, the body was so bad that they couldn't do a test. That's what I heard. But you know. So I ain't saying he was, and I'm not holding that against him because the other people in the other car did pass away too. But you know, I wasn't there, and like I said, don't believe nothing you hear. Now this is what's eerie. That night in San Bernardino, he worked Hector Guerrero. Guess what kind of match it was? And this was his last. This is his last match. Okay, now this is his last match. The night he died in the car wreck.
Loser leaves town.
Mexican death match.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I was going to definitely guess it wasn't a Judy Bagwell on a pole match. But yeah.
Was it a RoboCop rips you out of a cage match?
No, it was Mexican death. Wow.
Yeah,
that is just horrible timing. Oh my gosh.
When I read that, I was like, yikes.
Seriously. God.
And also, there was a lot. I've read different stories. I did try to go deep in this one because I heard about it before through the years. Because he was working for LaBelle's in L.A. and Shires in San Francisco at the same time. And at the same time, in Shires, he was feuding with Playboy Buddy Rose.
Okay.
And there is a video for that week's TV in San Francisco where they were him and Lonnie Main and Rose was having a match. So they did the promos, but they said this aired. I don't see how in the world it could because it wasn't the next day. They said it was the next day, but I looked them up and the dates didn't go together. But anyway, he talks about the match, and he says, I'm going to carry you out to the stretcher, and he said, I'm going to have pallbearers take you out.
Oh, my gosh.
And he died like a few days before that. And I was like, and it's aired. You can go on YouTube and look at it.
Jeez.
And I was like, how did they let this air? The guy, and I was like, and they were trying to say that they didn't know he was dead. But from what I lined up, it aired. It was recorded, but it was aired days later. It's like, how did you let that air? It's crazy. It was crazy. So that's on YouTube. Go check that video. And also, if go look at the pictures of Moondog Lonnie Main, he wasn't your typical what you think of WWF, Memphis, wherever Moondogs. He was totally different. He was kind of like the hippie out there Moondog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
He wasn't the creature Moondog. There's a video I'm sure you can find out who eats the glass.
Yes.
Yeah, he eats the glass. I mean, he was a total character, in and out of the ring. And look at video if you can find video, watch his videos, and look at his pictures. Pull up pictures of him. He was only 33 years old when he died.
Man,
he looked like he was 55 to 60 years old. I was shocked when I saw he was 33. I was like, "There's no way." I mean, I was like, because I've watched what videos out there through the years, and read stories. I've always been a fan of, I was intrigued, I guess, about him because I grew up on Blood Guts Moondogs.
Yeah.
And then when I found out about this guy, I was like, oh, it's a different Moondog, and he was way before them. I was like, and I thought he was an old dude, man. He was 33.
That's crazy.
I mean, you've seen pictures of him, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you think that guy was 33?
I would say 45 easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, go check that out, man, because that was crazy.
But I don't know if that's because we're younger looking these days, but man, he definitely didn't look 33. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you think about it though, territory guys aged.
Hard living.
And no planes. You was all car rides. You got to think about. A lot of these territory, they all wasn't like Knoxville and Gulf Coast.
Right.
These are halls. He was working, like I said, he was working the West Coast, Bell, Shires, Don Owens in Portland. He was all that West Coast, and still did shots across for Vince. But, car ride, all these guys did car ride, drove hours and hours, eating the worst you could eat on the road, constantly drinking, later on, they got into the cocaine and all that, but the 60s and 70s, it was drinking.
Yeah. Right. Woo.
And I mean, that's just hard. It was hard living on your mind, your body, everything. So they aged so, much faster than the boys from, let's say, the 90s on up,
Yeah, no doubt. That's
whew. Yep. All right. So this one, I almost forgot about it. I just did this 2 days ago, so I didn't get a lot. I didn't get to deep dive into this one, but it's out there if you want to go look at it. We're going to go to August 9th, 1980, New York / Queens. We're going to go to Shea Stadium. Bruno Sammartino beat Larry Zbyszko in a cage match. This was from the showdown at Shea. A lot of people don't know, but this was not the first Shea Stadium show. This was actually the third one.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people know about it, and they've actually watched it. I think it was on the network forever.
Yeah.
It might be. This was one of the first, I think, not might be the first, but probably close to the first Andre Hogan match that was on film.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if there's much out there before this on film with them two against each other. But yeah, that was a loaded card. The whole thing where, Zbyszko was Sammartino's protege and he turned on him, and man, there's a fiery Bruno interview out there, floating around about, leading up to this, showdown at Shea. And Bruno, he didn't get, he was Bruno's interviews were smooth. You know, no, man, he yells cusses.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I'm gonna try to find the link. I'll post it. Yeah, I remember I was like, "Whoa, Bruno showing." I mean,
Yeah.
so like I said, this was the third show.
Yeah.
At Shea. The first one was in September 30th, 1972. I might go into detail on that next month, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And then the second one was June 25th, 1976. You know what the main event was for this?
No, I don't.
Muhammad Ali versus Antonio Inoki.
Okay. Duh.
Well,
I'm fired.
but the main event for the wrestling was Bruno versus Stan Hansen after Stan Hansen broke Bruno's neck.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
That was. And there's a whole thing. Since this is June, I'll brief it real fast. Bruno talks about an interview how Vince Sr. They got into this whole thing where he put all his money into the Northeast closed circuit to watch the shows. Mm-hmm. He put heavy into that, and it was going to flop. And it was not selling from what Bruno was saying. And Bruno said that Vince Sr. kept calling his hospital or his doctor or whatever, and just kept going to Bruno saying, "You got to come back. You got to save this show." He's like, "I got a broken neck."
Oh my gosh.
He was going to lose. He kept. I don't know if it's true or not, but Bruno said that Senior was basically telling him, if he don't come and work this show with Hansen, to say the company's gonna go bankrupt because he's put so much money in to this closed circuit TV, like a pay per view, but closed circuit. You had to go to the big arenas so they would show it and everything.
Yeah,
and so he said he just kept every day he would call him, and Bruno's like, "I got a broke neck." I mean.
I can only do so much.
Yeah. So, lo and behold, Bruno came back and had a match.
Of course, he's the man.
Yeah. I mean, there's interviews of Bruno out there, different ones with different people, but through the years. But go listen to that story. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will.
And that was a flop because that match, they said the buy rate was horrible and the match was even worse.
Oh, man.
Have you ever seen the match?
Oh, yeah. I think I have, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he's on his back kicking.
Right. Yeah. And Muhammad doesn't really know what to do, That was
Ali was a showman, but he wasn't a wrestling showman.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely could have been if he wanted to have,
Oh yeah, he was
proper training.
That's Superstar Billy Graham promos,
Oh, totally.
Basically, Muhammad Ali,
Yeah, exactly.
Dusty took some of it,
Oh, no doubt. I mean, everybody. So
he was the talker, man.
Oh yeah.
So that Hogan Andre match you were talking about earlier, is that the one where Hogan actually slams him first? I think it is.
Not the first time he was slammed, or the first time Hogan slammed him.
First time Hogan slammed him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was like, I remember watching the match. Was it 78 Houston? Harley slams him. Actually, a lot of people slammed him. Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing, right?
Yeah. Like I said, if you only saw it in your town, Ronnie Garvin slammed him in Knoxville.
Right.
Ronnie Garvin beat the crap out of him with a chair in Knoxville. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, if you didn't, territory days, and then you go into the 80s, and casual fans have no clue that Andre got slammed so many, hundreds of times.
Right. By smaller men, So,
but, you don't know that because 80s boom.
Right.
Casual fans don't know.
Right.
there was a territory system. Andre Worth territories. They got slammed by everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Yeah. It's that crazy world of wrestling. So,
Yeah.
All right. So then we're going to go to August 10th, 1991. I had kind of debate on using this, but it's kind of historical. We're going to go to Dallas, Texas to, I hate calling it this, the Global Dome. I still call it Sportatorium no matter what they try to do. That's
Right.
the Sportatorium.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Patriot beat Al Perez in the finals of the North American Heavyweight Title Tournament, and he becomes the first global North American champion.
There you go. Boom.
And if you're our age, ESPN Global afternoons, people was watching it. We all grew up on watching that.
Totally. Yeah.
So, like I said, it was not a lot of, Global don't get a lot of rub. But, like I said, a lot of us guys, I was out of school by then, but I still watched it. A lot of guys, y'all, especially y'all's age, y'all remember watching it in the afternoons.
That's probably the reason I watched ESPN.
Yeah.
Back in those days is because they had wrestling. They had, they had the AWA at one time and all that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so Jarrett and I would get off the bus at our dad's pharmacy, and we would go to the pharmacy and work, on the side as kids, obviously. And they had this little TV. It was a
black and white TV.
little portable TV, and I remember like Hollywood John. I remember all these people watching them on that. Like, I remember the Handsome Stranger, Buff Bagwell.
Yep.
I'll never forget. I remember Ahmed Johnson as.
Yep.
Yeah. So great times, man. Great times. Love it.
Yeah, I'd throw it in there because, like I said, people our age that that was part of our life.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Come heat up your summer over at Captain's Corner, the purveyor of all things wrestling. We'll be working with stars like Wheeler Yuta, King Haku, Coco Beware, and many more in the months of July and August. Also, make sure to mark down September 20th on the calendar as we present Slam Fest 2025. Montreal's first ever pro wrestling convention will be presented by Captain's Corner and our friends at LWA. Featuring The Godfather, Barry Windham, The Godwins, Doink and Dink the Clown, and a dozen additional stars. It all happens at Ruby Foods on the 20th of September. Make sure to check us out on both Facebook and Instagram at Captain's Corner. Cheers to the working man.
All right, so we're going to go to the third week. We're going to go to August 17th, 1959. We're going back to Memphis. And we're going back to Rushwood Park. This was the build up that from the June/July Billy Wicks and Sputnik Monroe feud. On this night, Sputnik Monroe wrestled Billy Wicks to a no contest with one fall each. Okay, now what gets weird is I kind of figured this. Like I said, there's no TV to really see how these angles are set up. So they got the this match, like I said, and they had that one in July, and this wrestler Tretch Phillips helped Monroe win in July. If I'm, like I said, it got so jumbled up because I never heard of the July match. It threw me off. But in this, so the match, and I know I'm confusing people, I'm confusing myself. So the match in August, they had a special referee. And the special referee was Rocky Marciano. So I'm thinking with the match before where Tretch Phillips interfered, I think that's why they had Marciano as a special referee, be like an enforcer to keep people out,
Yeah. That makes sense.
Marciano, boxing champion, big time, so that's what I'm thinking. But the thing was, they had two falls each. I mean, one fall each. And the third fall, Marciano called it. Called a no-fault decision. Ended the fight, the match. Which, like I said, there's no TV to actually why that would happen. Because, I mean, that's kind of like, if I'm a fan and we got the two biggest stars in Memphis, we building this feud up and there's no finish.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, ugh. And then now the reported attendance was 13,749. So they had over 3,000 more fans of this one. But you know what was crazy? And Cornette's talked about it. A lot of people talked through the years. There were so many people who couldn't get in. I guess 13,749 was the limit. People were on the out. They broke down the outfield wall and rushed in the field to watch this. They said over 5,000 people pushed and broke down the outfield wall and ran in. So it was over.
Wow.
They said there was close to 20,000 people by the time this match happened.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah. And they said so many people the police couldn't hold it back.
Jeez.
They said they broke down the wall.
Police are like, hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Calm
And
down.
that's what even more don't make any sense is you have that many people want to see this and you give them no finish. And the only thing I could think of was, hey, they're going to bring it back again to Rustwood for the third one, you know. But guess what? They did not. They went back to Rustwood, I think, end of September. Wasn't this match. It was somebody else. And it was, they came back in September to Rustwood. Was not Monroe and Billy Wicks. It was Monroe and Al Galento in a chicken wire match. It only drew 7,000. Well, only, but I mean, 7,128 compared to 20,000.
Yeah, that's.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, there's no TV or nothing. So I don't know how, you know, what happened with that. Because, I mean, obviously, you had no finish. Surely you were building up to come back again, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I don't, like I said, with no TV, it's hard to figure out how this, you know, and there's not a lot written. I mean, there's stuff written out there about it. You can find it out there in some books. But just by casual or deep diving on the internet, you can't find rhyme or reason with it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Maybe one day, hopefully. Maybe one day. But I doubt
it might be out there in some books and stuff, but
yeah.
you know, so I got to really go look for it, I guess. All right. So next we're going to go to August 21st, 1979. We're going to Tampa, Florida. Fort Homer Herstley Armory. I can never say that right. Dusty Rhodes beats Harley Race for the NWA World Heavyweight title. And this was Dusty's first run with the world title.
Yeah, baby. That's awesome.
And it lasted, and I think it lasted like 5 days.
Probably.
Or like a week or 2 weeks because Harley won it back like a week later, I think it was. It was like, yeah, because it actually had it. Actually, I tell you, when he won it back 5 days later in Tampa. Harley won it back on August 26th, 79.
2 years before I was born.
I looked down at the bottom of my notes and said, okay, yeah, it was 5 days later. But that was Dusty's first run. So I figured that was a little historic. I put that on there. And I think there is on YouTube the clip version of that match and Dusty's celebration afterwards. So go check that out. All right. We'll go to August 15th, 1971. Louisville, Kentucky. Convention Center, or later known as Louisville Gardens. Jerry Jarrett beat Don Green in the first ever scaffold match.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Love a scaffold match.
Okay, now I've had this on tape early 90s. There was like 5, 6 Goulas tapes floating around. They were all house shows. They were clipped up versions. There's like 5. There's a bunch of tapes floating around early 90s. This was on there. Okay. Thinking about it, you know, Memphis had the second scaffold match. It was Dundee and Coco. Dundee and Mantell, that scaffold was huge. Now, then they had NWA had their scaffold, which was high, but nobody could top World Class's 900-foot scaffold. They put up in Texas Stadium. But so I'm used to seeing these tall scaffolds.
Yeah.
So in 90, I get the tape. I'm watching. I'm like, that's not a scaffold match.
Q's like, that's just some ladders thrown together.
I mean, it's like, that's about the size of the scaffold match they had in Shelbyville. You know? I mean, it's like, you know, but so I'm looking at through the eyes of somebody that's done seen years of scaffolds.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking as, you know, at the time, hey, 1970, this is new. That was a big deal.
No doubt. Yeah.
You know, especially, you didn't have a lot of guys even coming off the top rope, you know, late 60s or 70s in Memphis, you know?
Right.
Actually,
right.
I think it was a DQ if you come off the top rope in Memphis still.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think that was like, I don't think they changed that until like 80 something.
Yeah.
So, you know, being above the top rope on a scaffold, how much taller it is above it, that's a big deal.
No doubt.
Now, I've seen interviews, Jarrett through the years. He talks about how he came up with the idea. He said he got home from late one night after a show, turned on TV, he was watching some old movie, and he talked about how these two guys were fighting. They were on this big log over this like ravine or gulch, and they were fighting, you know, and the next guy knocks him off, and well, he's gone. So that's where he got the idea. Okay, this what I thought killed it. Even when I watched it this first time, even though, so the height, you know, I never forgot about that because the rules was your guy had to win. You had to knock your opponent off 2 consecutive times.
Oh.
I'm like, so he just killed his whole reason why he thought of this match was the guy fell off the log and he was gone forever.
Yeah, why would you do that? I mean, just I guess do they feel like you need a mid-match bump or something?
I don't know, but the match was stopped. I want to say I should have rewatched this, but I didn't. I'm just going off memory. I want to say it was they both fell off once, and then the match got stopped because Don Green fell off scaffold and broke his wrist. Okay, now this was for years. Everybody said this was a shoot, which, like I said, I could understand it. You know, he got hurt, so they stopped it. But they should have, because later on, here's the thing: what really didn't make sense. It was a work. Don Green did not break his wrist. People said he did. They said it was a shoot. Jarrett said in an interview where he come up with the idea, and he said nobody would want to do it. He said he couldn't pay Fargo enough. Fargo told him to, you know, in Fargo language. So, you know, nobody would do it. Don Green said he'd do it. So the whole thing was to make it, you know, to make it really mean something. He was going to fall off and break something, which that totally messes up the whole 2 consecutive time thing. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It made no sense. But anyway, in the interview, he said that it was a work that he told him what he would have to do was that he would pay to get a cast put on, and he would pay him to sit home for like, was it 6 weeks or whatever? But he would only have to make Memphis and Louisville because they had the same tape. You know,
right.
You know,
right.
It's different from, you know, Nashville, Chattanooga, Birmingham. So he didn't have to go there, but he had to go to the 2 major towns, the Memphis and Louisville, because Louisville had Memphis TV. Was their tape. Okay. So he paid him to do those 2 shows and to sit home. And at the time, I want to say I've read this. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. He managed Al Green, and I want to say Sir Clements, who was their manager. Because he was a worker too, wrestler, and I want to say they said he managed, but the other towns, he got paid to sit home to make it be legit.
Yeah,
but yeah, for years everybody said it was a shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta love those old days, man. Kayfabe was the best.
Yeah, and like I said, the whole thing of the took second to fall kind of don't make sense with the finish, because if one fall he fall off, breaks his wrist, he's out for 6 weeks. That's big time.
Right.
But
Totally.
he done fell off 2 times, and Jerry done fell off like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
It wasn't consecutive, so it's like you just killed it. You killed your gimmick the first night.
That sounds just like classic overthinking, you know?
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. Yeah, because I mean, you knock Don Green off, he falls. Like I said, it wasn't high, but at that time it was. We've never seen nothing like this. He falls, breaks his wrist first time, boom, you know, and
that sounds like a good finish to me, you know? So.
Yeah, you know, I'm just wondering, did they, like I said, overthink it and thought they may have to drag it out more? In you know, the match, because you can only do so much, and you know,
right
on a scaffold, especially back then. I mean,
well, Jarrett and I, you know, we grew up with the Night of the Skywalkers, and it is not a great match. I love that pay-per-view. I love that match. The Midnights and the Road Warriors were just not. It was like watching watching you know, me ice skate.
Yeah.
It was really not good. And
none of them really are.
You're right, exactly.
But I love it.
They're not friendly to fight on, I would imagine, you know, but to add another bump off of that is crazy. It's diabolical, actually, if you think about it. You know?
It's out there on video, so go watch it.
I will. I'm gonna. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if he couldn't get anybody to do it, so they had to make it like lower, and they kind of had to. And then when they made it lower, they're like, "Well, you need 2 bumps off this thing before it would really be any good." I mean, I don't know.
Maybe that's a good.
I think that. Well, I mean, like I said, I don't think they. I think it was the original height, because, like I said, nobody was coming off the top rope in the Memphis territory, Tennessee territory at all, except for like Ricky Gibson, you know, when the referee wasn't looking. But so it didn't need to be like, you know, 900 feet like world class,
right?
You know, just enough to be over at top rope, and being narrow would be enough for the illusion of it. Yeah. So I just don't know. Like I said, I think it comes to overthinking.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Great idea that just kind of went. You know, I don't know, but yeah, I tell you something. Go watch that. I think the Coco and Dundee later. I think it was like the second one they did. And man, that scaffold was up there, boy. And it was in the Mid-South Coliseum. I said they were looking right up into the upper balcony.
Of course, it would be there. You know, that's just how they roll.
You know, they went from like the lowest to the well, you know, the second one is like, okay, we're gonna step it up. I'm like, yeah, that was a big difference in the size. But yeah, go check it out, because it's historical and everything. Yes. You'll be disappointed, you know, but it was historical. So all right, so now we're gonna go to August 16th, 1986. We're going to go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to the Civic Center. We got a U.S. title match. Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff in the Best of 7 series wrestled to a no contest with a special referee, Bob Geigel. So they were tied at 3-3. This is number 7. Winner takes all. Wrestled to a no contest. So guess what? We go the next day. We go to Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte Coliseum, U.S. title match for match number 8 of the Best of 7. And Nikita Koloff beats Magnum TA and wins the series. I've never understood this as long as I live, especially after I got in the business. You put the heel over the babyface?
Yeah, that's weird.
And Magnum was hotter than Satan's farts.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I know you're putting Nikita's getting that monster heel push, but slip him over somehow.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, it might get where they know falsy, and just out of nowhere, Magnum just slides over, just, you know, even like, how did it, you know, make it where, how did he do that? You know, it won't hurt Nikita.
Not a bit.
I just don't understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What you know, were they gonna? And they had matches on the rest of up, and I think it was like November off and on. They still worked a lot with the U.S. title.
Yeah.
Do you think they were just trying to help Nikita out and so much, and they knew that, or they just knew that Magnum was going to be their champ eventually, and it wouldn't? I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, but I was just thinking maybe they just didn't think it would hurt Magnum at all, and it would help Nikita. And the car wreck changes everything. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's kind of hard because the end of the story got cut off way short, but at least I could. My thing is, wrestling booking 101 is you put that babyface over at the end. If it's
right, totally.
I mean, they did come back, have a lot of matches through the next few months, spot shows and everything, house shows, but it wasn't part of the angle. You know what I'm saying? You blowing off the angle, babyface goes over. So it just.
That's like Wrestling 101, isn't it? I mean, isn't that?
Yeah. So. But, like Jarrett said, that car wreck down the road changed everything. So there might have been a rhyme reason to this to bring it back to maybe Starrcade, and so I'm thinking that's the only reason I could think of it, that it was going to come back around at Starrcade or one of the, that they was going to build it back up.
Right.
And have a big blow off. I'm assuming, but like I said, it was cut short. So,
man,
that's the only way I can think of it. There was going to be a bigger blow off down the road. So
yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go to August 19th, 1988. We're going back to Knoxville, Tennessee, the Civic Coliseum, and remember I said Ron Fuller's USA shut down. Well, guess what? Guess what happened?
Here it comes.
USA Championship Wrestling officially ran their last show. Okay, so the first one was back first week of August. Their TV ended. They went to Continental. The territory was taken back over by Continental.
Wow, that's cool.
Continental still had the Alabama. Okay. And, in North Florida, Pensacola. Okay. They come back into the Knoxville market, and Ron Fuller ran one more show after he was closed down. You don't hear that.
Yeah. Right.
And he had no TV. There was no reason to run the show. And I asked Bo James, because when I stumbled across, I was like, okay, Bo, how they done switched over to Continental. Fuller was done, closed up. This show pops up. And it's in the newspaper. Newspaper ad for it, advertising it. And he said, Bo was like, he said, man, I don't know. He said, I think it was just Fuller wanting to give the Knoxville fans a blow off, because it ended just right, boom, He said that he thought what he gathered was that Fuller appreciated the people of Knoxville supporting him, and he wanted to give them an end to the blow off to all the programs.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I asked Bo, I said, have you heard this before? And Bo said he hadn't heard of nobody doing this before.
No.
He said, So, it was that what, like I said, I was like, somehow stumbled across. I was like, hold on, they shut down. How do they run in? Because I was looking to see what when the Continental started actually running the Coliseum again, there's Continental, and lo and behold, there's USA with a hat. I'm like, huh? So that'd be, these things, it's not real historical, but it was so different. I had to put it in there. And like I said, it's one of my favorite all-time promotions. So
yeah, definitely. Love it.
All right. So now we're going to go to the last part of August. And this one, this was like a 3-day rabbit hole. I went down. Yeah.
Going.
This one was good. So we're going to go to August 27th, 1971. We're going to Los Angeles, California, to the LA Coliseum. Fred Blassie beat John Tolos in a 2-out-3 falls.
Beautiful. Man.
It was outdoor at the big Coliseum.
Those guys had legendary matches out that way, didn't they? So.
Yeah, they were, in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, that was, because Blassie was the babyface.
Yeah.
And he'd been healed for so long. And yeah, L.A. man, the LaBelle territory. I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, he's Blassie was a legend everywhere, but in California, man, that was his thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tulsa was, you know, he was the next guy, and you know, and Blassie was a babyface. I mean, even though he was the most hated heel forever, they loved him now. It's one of those things. It's wrestling. You know, back to the Eric Embry thing. They hated Eric Embry forever. Then he becomes the best thing ever. You know, it's wrestling. I never understood it, but you know,
Right.
If I don't like you and you do me wrong, you ain't gonna be my best friend.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Especially if I've hated you for years and just despise you, and you beat up every good guy wrestler I liked.
Right. Right.
You know, oh yeah, you're doing stuff right now, but no, I remember that. But wrestling people, the fans, they forget it.
Yeah, they do.
Know?
It's like Paul Jones, man. You know, as a kid,
Yeah.
I would have never believed he was one of the biggest baby faces in Mid-Atlantic history ever.
Yep.
I would have never believed that because we hated him, right, Jared? So, well, obviously you did too, probably, Quinton. But
I thought it was like I couldn't stand Paul Jones, and I wasn't a big Jimmy Valiant fan, but when he cut his beard off, man, I was like, what a d-bag, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's great example of the Paul Jones gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
So, like I said, this was, one of the biggest feuds in NW Hollywood LaBelle history. And, oh, gosh. I deep dove into this. This started back the year before with the Tolos and Blassie feud. Actually, in August of 70, they had like a 3-month really hot and heavy feud. Like I said, it went actually about 4 months. Went to the end of the year. They did cage matches, stretcher matches, you know, and then they blew it off. But then in between that time, some different towns, they didn't take it to every town every week. Blassie would work a couple people here and there, but it was their main TV angle. Mm-hmm. And then it ended in like December of 70. So going forward into May of 71, they had a title shot for the America's title, which the America's title in LaBelle's, that was her top belt. It's called America's title. Not American, but America's. So Tolos beats Blassie, and you think, okay. But after the match, Tolos threw Monsel powder in Blassie's eyes and blinded him. And it was a big deal. I mean, they did the whole thing where, where Blassie was blinded. The doctor told him he should never wrestle again. You know, that whole gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So back in, let's see, where was this at? Like I said, I deep dove into this because I kept finding more stuff and more stuff. And let's see, where was that? Like I said, they planned this over a year ahead, this whole Coliseum show and the whole angle with Blassie and Tolos. Even though they had it where it would die down, I mean, it was so hot, I guess they couldn't keep it going a whole over a year. You know, it would die down. So they gave it a break 3 months before. I think they started it back up. So he did, like I say, he threw the powder, did the whole gimmick. There's pictures of Blassie in the hospital bed with the bandages and the sunglasses on. And this is what is crazy. I want to say it was sometime in 70.
Mm-hmm.
Blassie had minor knee surgery.
Okay.
He was in the hospital for knee surgery. LaBelle's, like I said, they planned this out so far ahead. Blassie, they went into his hospital room, put the bandages on his eyes, took the pictures for the blinding angle a year later.
Wow.
That's booking ahead, buddy.
Seriously. That's awesome.
And,
I love
and
that.
that was May of 71 where he blinded him. The match wasn't until August 27th of 71. So that was 3 months later from the blinding. And the blinding the year before was the surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, is that crazy or what? I mean,
that is nuts. That is what they call long-term booking, right? And
but here's the thing, though.
Mhm.
If you're going to book the LA Coliseum, you better have a lot of thought. Don't overthink it, but you got to plan it out.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
And you also have to take in variables of changes and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess in those days they could pretty much count on each other like that a little more. You know what I mean? So.
oh yeah. I mean, there's just these two top guys. You knew it was they were, and I'm sure they went to them early and said, "Here's the long plan we're doing. Y'all had the feud, mid '70 to the end of '70. We break them off. Then out of nowhere, boom, we started back up, just full steam ahead."
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and yeah, that it's just crazy. Like I said, you booking that Coliseum, you better bring it.
Yeah,
and you better make sure because you're going to lose your keister. All right, so I went deep diving in this. Now they said the whole thing was Mike LaBelle, come up with this whole thing. They said the number one reason why was he wanted to be the record holder for the largest attendance in LA for the LA territory.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
At the time, the record was set in May 21, 1952, Luthez versus Baron Leon at Gilmore Stadium.
Mm.
The estimated attendance, which they said this was close, probably a shoot because they figured it out, was 25,556.
Mm.
That was in 52. That's a lot of people.
No doubt.
So LaBelle, that was his. They said that was the number reason for doing all this. He wanted to be the all-time promoter of LA. He wanted that record.
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't understand because it's all work. Everybody, it's like, you're packing in people. You're doing, what I'm saying, you're doing good business. I mean, it's a good idea that this whole angle and everything, but the main reason was to break a record. That don't make sense to me because you want to break a record, you could lose your butt and basically go bankrupt, man, and kill the territory if it don't work out.
Yeah.
If you're going to you're going to put all your eggs in one basket. It needs to be for maybe your company's on the edge of losing it, and you gotta boom it back. I see the reason, but just say that I promoted the biggest card in LA. It's a work. Why is he's that don't matter. That's for the people. The fans look at that.
Yeah.
You're looking at, my business as dollar signs, not as look at me. I don't know if I'm seeing that wrong, but that's what I don't understand it. Because I'm thinking of wrestler mentality on this. As a promoter, you're going for numbers and money. You're not going for prestige.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going for wrestling. You're going to keep your company going and striving. You shouldn't be going for magazine coverage.
That's right. Right. Totally. Yeah.
And so this is what I had to deep dive in this. And actually, I've heard about this match forever, and I know a lot about it. I knew about the attendance. It was supposed to be the record breaker. Charting the territories. Al Getz deep dives it. I love his podcast. If you can get past his political stuff he talks about on there, which I wish he wouldn't, because that's one of the reasons I don't listen to Cornette's, because the Cornette's political and language. I can't listen to Cornette anymore. Al Getz is not as bad, but he does bring it up. So if you can look past Al Getz's political stuff, that rears up every now and then, but on this episode it don't. So he does. I'm talking major deep dive. I mean, wow. But yeah, So I remember listening to it 2 years ago when it was, and so he goes and just deep dives into this attendance because over the years, some of the workers said, It wasn't. It wasn't. Okay, let me go back. LaBelle's attendance to his show was 25,874. So, which is roughly what? A little under 600 more people.
Yeah. Something like that.
He just had enough to, he couldn't have like 25,257 or 60, so he didn't want to go over 1,000, but keep it under, you know what I'm saying? Just enough to say he had the thing. The house gate was $142,158.50. That was what the gate was reported to the commission, to the athletic commission. That's a lot of money for 1970.
Yeah, no doubt.
That is a big gate. Now, I said some people worked there said they didn't think it was that high. Some was estimating 20. Some of the fans at the time, you didn't have sheet writers back then. You had fan club people. The person who ran the Blassie fan club said that it wasn't 25,000. It differed. Anyway, a lot of people saying it was 20. Yeah. So Al Getz deep dives into this, goes to the archives, Athletic Commission archives, goes to the Coliseum archives, talks to them, gets their number, gets the number from the Athletic Commission, and then he does the ticket prices and does this formula. I mean, I stop it at that. I'm not going that deep. He goes into the ticket prices, this, that. I mean, it comes out, and the Coliseum said it was more like 17 something. Is what the Coliseum records say. I think it said it was like 17 something.
Wonder how you would calculate that though, because there would surely be comp tickets back then too.
I don't know if there was or not.
I would think there would be. I would think if
I think there'd be some, but not like like it got in the 80s with your big shows, and I don't think it was like that back. I could be wrong because I mean
I'll trust you over B on that. So
I mean I'm sure there was some, but not like to the degree of the 80s were
the Monday Night Wars too.
and 90s where every city radio station gave out tickets.
Yeah.
So I don't think because I think a show like this it could make you or break you. So I don't think they would have gave out a lot of comp tickets for tickets because they needed the revenue. They needed the revenue. That stadium that had to be expensive.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, they're fixing to get ready for football coming up, college football. But summertime, I'm sure they wasn't making no money off that place. It just sat dormant.
Right.
So I'm sure that was expensive. Yeah. So he does this calculation. It comes up to around 17 something.
Okay.
And a guy named Jeff Walton, who was LaBelle's right-hand man for a long time, and later, if you're a fan of Memphis wrestling, mid-'80s, there was a manager in Memphis come after Jimmy Hart named Tux Newman. That was Jeff Walton.
Okay.
He has a book out about NWA Hollywood. He talks about it in there, and he thinks it's 17,000, 18,000. He was there.
Okay.
And like I said, he was the office. He was Mike LaBelle's right-hand man.
Yeah. Okay.
So I say, most people say 17 to 20. I'll go 18. I'll cut it in the middle. I mean, because I don't care how. Al's formula. I don't think you can get it to that right on the dot, or even by the I'd say you'd have to miss it by 1,000. I mean, just because the ticket prices, they weren't all one price, so Yeah. So you're going to have some error in there somewhere. So I'm going to go with 18,000. Nowhere near the record Mike LaBelle boasted about of the 25,847.
I like it.
He missed it by about 8,000.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So if you're a deep dive, go check that out. Try the territories, and he's got some good stuff on other territories. Like earlier, we talked about the Gulf Coast, the Mississippi side. He does an episode on the Gulf Coast, like in 70 something. So, go check it out. Like I said, you can get past the pop. When he talks politics, you can get past that. It's good. And he's this next month is his last show, and at the end of the year, he's taking all of his episodes down. So if you like listening to territorial stuff from the 70s and stuff, go download them now because they will be gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go to August 24th, 1976. We're going to Nashville, Tennessee. On this day, the UWA shut down. Buddy Lee and Danny Davis ends all wrestling-related business with Lou Thez, and so they were out of business. They sent a letter to the Tennessee State Athletic Commission saying they were breaking all ties with Lou Thez, and they were not running any shows, and they wanted a refund on their wrestling license. Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay, you done run 7 months. I don't think you'll get a refund. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
So the last house show in Nashville was actually ran on 8/17/1976. The last TV aired in Nashville on 8/26/1976. A lot of people say that week, the thing that pretty much broke the camel's back was the big show they had in Chattanooga at the minor league baseball stadium, which was a total flop disaster. And I think from what I've read, that was the final straw, losing too much money. They took a bath on that show. So Buddy Lee and Danny Davis, tired of losing money, pulled the plug on it. And now Lou Thez did run a few more shows under the UWA banner, but they were outlaw shows. He had no license, no insurance, nothing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, actually, this is one of my favorite promotions. And love it. And it was holy grail forever. Tape traders. A few years back, John Boucher found the whole run of UWA TV, but it's on those crazy reels, and it's very expensive to get
it transferred over to something.
Transferred over. So he has only did so many shows, but he has the whole run, which, like I said, tape traders, early 90s, only 2 episodes was supposed to survive. They were floating around forever. And lo and behold, 2 years ago, John Boucher has the whole run. So,
nice.
Like I said, one of my favorite all-time promotions. So
very cool. Very cool.
So now we're going to go to August 26, 1980. We're going to go to Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, this is some shady. This is part. Nick Goulas took the corporate checkbook and other records from the corporate office and closed down the corporate checking account at First American National Bank in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, 2 days later, Goulas Wrestling Enterprises was supposed to be part of the Montgomery County Fair in Clarksville, Tennessee. So, the fair shows are paid shows. So they've already been paid. Day of the show, the show was canceled because the ring, the announcer, and most of the wrestlers didn't show up.
Oh, my gosh.
Man.
And we all know that this was the time that Buddy Fuller, or Buddy Welch, and Jerry Jarrett bought out Goulas. A lot of people don't know they were already partners, minority partners with Goulas. Yeah, and then end of August for September, they became the majority, and Goulas only had like 25%. So they took over. Goulas was done, and in September they were going to buy the rest of him out. We'll go into it next month because it got really crazy and shady. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go to August 29th, 1988, New York City, Madison Square Garden for the first Summerslam event.
Nice.
The main event was the Mega Powers beat the Mega Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
And the Mega Bucks was Andre and Ted DiBiase with Bobby Heenan and Virgil, and Jesse Ventura was a special referee. The rest of
Nice.
this card is all over the place. I mean, I don't know. One other match on this had a lot of historic. Ultimate Warrior beat the Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh,
Like
man.
12 seconds.
Poor Honky. Poor Honky.
No, poor Honky, no. No, poor Honky, that was good. He didn't have to have a long match.
Good point. Yeah, great point. But it was just the end of a great run.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just went out like a fart. But good point. Great point. He probably was happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to work the Warrior. That's the best. That 12 seconds, take that any day. But like I said, the rest of this card was just, it seemed to me it was kind of all over the place on the way they set it up. Because it was like you had the British Bulldogs and the Rougeau brothers in the opening, and then it goes. And then you have like the Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk. Your second biggest title is in like match 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Demolition the Heart Foundation. Yeah, I figured that would have been like your semi-main event. It was 7.
Mm-hmm.
Big Boss Man and Coco Ware was match 8. I mean, and then Jake Roberts beat Hercules in semi-main. I don't know who put this card together, and it just was all over the place. I mean, good matches, but it just don't seem like it was set up. The layout didn't look right.
It about didn't matter what they did right there, though. They had a Warrior hot as fire. They had Macho and Hogan teaming. I mean, they were probably going to make money hand over fist no matter what they did, to be honest with you.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, there's no telling how much they made off that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ending to that Mega Bucks, Mega Powers is Elizabeth ripping off the skirt. And there. But they said the original plan on the dark side of the ring, they said the original plan was for her to have like a bikini on, and Randy wouldn't go for it. So
wouldn't allow it, huh?
He didn't want the lust in their eyes, brother.
The lust in his eyes, yeah.
Behind my back, love me like a brother. I got proof right here, yeah. You got lust in your eyes and in your black heart for Elizabeth.
That's one of the best lines ever.
It really is. Yeah, it really is.
It's just the way he said it, and just it was great.
Totally.
But, all right, so we're going to the last one, and only reason why I did this one was for my own self poop and giggles. So we're going to go to August 28th, 1990. We're going to go to Hershey, Pennsylvania, Hershey Park Arena for the WWF Superstars TV show. Saba Simba makes his debut.
Ooh. That legendary gimmick.
That legendary gimmick. Ooh, wow.
And the reason why this is so funny to me is the commentary is Roddy Piper and Miss McMahon saying this is his debut on Superstars. So Vince's like, oh, here we look at this. Saba Simba. And Piper goes, that's Tony Atlas.
I know.
Making his initial appearance right here on the Superstars of Wrestling.
Hold the phone. That's Tony Atlas. That ain't no Saba Simba. That's Tony Atlas with walking around look like some bird's real cold the way he's walking around. All them feathers, who's he trying to fool?
Proud of his heritage, indeed. We have not seen this man for years and legally changing his name to Saba Simba.
Well, that's ridiculous. Can you imagine why Tony Atlas is a great competitor? Now, Saba Simba, why walk around looking like that? You look like a fool.
Man is proud of his heritage. I mean, after all, Hot Rod, you walk around in a kilt.
Never mind.
I see.
Like, did you think, can you imagine the pucker on Vince when that happened?
He kept saying it. Everybody knows that's Tony Atlas. They changed that like 5 different times. And you can tell Vince is like scrambling, man, trying to.
Well, pal.
He's like, Vince says, you went back to his heritage, his roots, or something like that.
That's exactly what he said. He said something like he went back to his, I don't know, it was like to his roots or to his, yeah.
To Roanoke?
I mean, it was just like, I've probably watched that 10 times this week, man. It just,
yeah, totally.
It's like, I mean, you can tell, man. It was like Piper did that on purpose. He wanted to see Vince squirm.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It just, but yeah, it was. I just say, I it's one of those things that has no real historical value, but it's just so funny that Piper just stooges it off from
totally.
He ain't got to the ring yet. He's still coming down the aisle.
I know. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah, so definitely go check that out because it's just one of those funny moments.
Yes.
Back then, in 90, people watching WWE Superstars was not smart. They probably didn't know. 90% of them probably didn't know who Tony Atlas was.
I didn't know who Tony Atlas was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just, this big guy coming out. I mean, the getup was top notch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looked good. I mean, all that coming out there looking like that. You saw the Simba, and you just say, "That's Tony Atlas." It's like, and the fans probably like, "Oh, he's not an African warrior."
Right. I mean, if they had started with that gimmick, maybe, but that not to just he'd been around so long. I mean, come on. That was
Piper made that. Yeah. So go check that out.
Love it.
That was, like I said, I had a bunch more. I narrowed it down because, like I said, I got going and I was snowballing, and I was like, it'll be one of those Bo James 4-hour shows he does, and I was like, nah, can't do that. So I cut a lot of stuff out. So
well, maybe on the Patreon one day when we get one of those.
Yeah.
Good job, Q. Great show, brother.
Great job, man. Great job.
Thanks, guys. Like I said, I enjoyed it because I dove deep. And like I cut a lot out of that the Wicks and Monroe stuff. I could have went a little deeper, and especially went a little deeper on that LA Coliseum thing because I had like 3 pages of notes just on that Coliseum thing. So I narrowed it down a lot. So.
Well, good info either way. We appreciate it. I've enjoyed this for sure, man.
Deep dive. I love doing this because, man, it just I go with memories of. I remember this match. I remember this stuff from the magazines and the tape trading. It's like, oh yeah, let me go on this. Let me go really into look and see what really happened of it. Then I was like, oh man, I didn't know this, didn't know that. So it's like not teaching people. I'm actually teaching myself too.
Good. We love it.
And this has been
This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
Thank y'all again for listening. We'll be right back to wrap things up with Quinton and the Sheik on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, man, that was an awesome episode, Q. That was episode 2 of This Month in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma. Quinton, awesome job, buddy. Thank you. August fed us so well. What a great run of history you told us about there, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me do it.
Oh, man. Great.
Man, it was amazing. Yeah, some memories and taught me some new things. I was thinking the same thing. You learn something new every time we do this, so I love it.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. Next week, we have an incredible episode. And guys, we're not going to skip next week like we did last week. I took a vacation. You got to forgive me, guys. But anyway, one thing we got to say is you can find out all the upcoming information that we're going to have on @GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Thank you for liking, sharing, following, supporting, all that great stuff, but mostly just thank you for listening. Guys, that's all I got for this week. You guys got anything else?
I'm good, brother. Let's get to the next one, I guess.
All right. What about you, Q?
All I got is keep Mark Dunn in your prayers and buy a shirt.
Daggone right, y'all go buy
them shirts.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much once again for listening, and we'll see y'all next time on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Don't forget.
In the past, how bitter I am over this Judas. But I'll tell you something, I'm damn bitter now. I'm damn bitter. This Judas keeps coming on here and keeps saying how washed up I am, that I've had it, that I'm a has-been, that I should get out. I don't even have the sense to know that I'm washed up. Well, by God, I'm going to tell you something, Judas. If you're man enough to beat me, Shea Stadium, if you're man enough to beat me in that cage, I will retire. And I will tell that in front of millions of all of you that are watching. Should this Judas beat me, I will quit wrestling. That will be my retirement. I will get out for good, never to be seen again. But by God, it's not going to happen, Zabisco, because you are the one that's going to retire. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I created you, and I will destroy you. And it's going to be in Shea Stadium that I'm going to end your miserable life, your miserable career. You doggone it, damn Judas, you saying that I'm washed up. Well, damn it, I'm going to show you who's washed up.
Bruno Sammartino meets Larry Zabisco in the steel cage no-holds-barred event.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you later.
This has been a James Rock Street production.